Welcome to the GOMTV Mokdong studio, where we are about to cast the semifinals of the GSTL. How are you feeling today, Kaldor?
I'm feeling pretty good, and did you see those Hot 6 cans? I think they took a lesson or two from how we used the tower last time.
Yeah, they actually definitely did, man. We are the master Hot 6 architects, so they still have a lot to learn.
Yeah, I think we can teach them a thing or two, but we'll talk to them later, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. We've got a lot of plans laid out for that, but today, guys, we are going to have FXOpen against MVP. It is our first part of the semifinals. One of these teams is going to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to Busan, and of course, MVP wants to go there, especially DRG, after falling short to MC just yesterday. He's now really eager to kick it in the overdrive and to show his skill today so that he will be able to go to Busan, at least for the GSTL finals, if not for Code S.
Yeah, you know, it's his hometown. He wants to go there and show, everyone in his hometown that he's quite strong.
He was crushed yesterday, wasn't he? He was like really sad.
I've never seen someone so crushed as a pro gamer ever before in my life.
Didn't you say you saw him in the back room after the game?
I saw him actually in the back room. He was in tears. He was back there with his girlfriend and his coach, and he felt so bad. I've never seen a sadder pro gamer after a loss ever.
MC really impressed me, by the way. I have to say that I did not expect him to do this well against DRG. I personally thought that Donghaegu would be able to claim the semifinals and advance to the final, and I am sure that he trained a lot because he wanted to go to Busan, but right now it's depending on the GSTL.
Yeah, he's really dependent on the GSTL today, and I think that the saddest thing is a lot of people are saying, well, you know what, he lost here, but he's got the GSTL. But the thing is, maybe he's got the GSTL if the first player all kills, for example, if his team goes to finals and he doesn't even come out, for example, that doesn't mean that he has like the moment to be the victor, the most important person, but the chance for it to be epic, like him coming out as the final boss and winning, that could be awesome. That could happen.
There's another problem, though. He has been preparing against Protoss like crazy. He prepared against Naniwa, he prepared against MC. So, how many Protoss players do we have in the lineup of FXO?
Not very many.
Yes, so that might be a bit of a problem as well. But we are having a quick look at the teams. Here they are.
Yep, you can see the win ranking here. Well, you saw it for a second, but we'll talk about that later. Player distribution there at the bottom of the screen indicates, of course, the FXOpen has very few Protoss, 3 in total. The race distribution pretty even, though, for MVP.
Yeah, really even indeed. And DRG, of course, being the captain. On the other hand, we have Coach Choya and Lucky being the captain of FXO. And Tier, the player with the highest win rate in the GSTL so far.
Yeah, Tier, pretty good player, really unique strategies a lot of the time. Here's our win ranking. This is something we mentioned just briefly earlier. You can see that Sniper is on the board here for MVP at number 6. Symbol still having the highest win rate by far, though, 9-1. Puzzle with a close second.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, tomorrow we have TSL versus Slayers, and one of these players will definitely get a few points under the scoreboard once again. But today we are focusing a little bit on FXO against MVP, and the starting players today are actually really exciting.
Yeah, we are going to have Keen coming out leading the charge, which is going to be really exciting to me. And he's playing against someone who's a little bit inexperienced in the GSTL. He made his first appearance last week and looked really strong. It's Whale.
He did. Exactly. Whale against Jagchi. That was actually a great game, and today he's up against another Talon player, as Keen is the starting player for Team MVP. A very solid player, a Talon player that was recently able to travel to a couple of foreign events, amongst them DreamHack. He performed well, but in the end he lost. I think it was the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. But he showed a lot of great games, especially against Protoss, though, and we will find out today how he is faring against Zerg.
We'll see. Indeed, Keen is a pretty good player. He definitely has beaten some of the best players in the world at times. Some people say he's really inconsistent, though, and sometimes he looks extremely good, sometimes he looks a little bit weaker. And today he's been preparing for this match quite a bit, so I think we'll see a better Keen.
I don't even know when I've seen him the last time against Zerg, at least not at the GSTL or GSL. I've seen his games, of course, against NST. The one map that really comes to mind is, of course, Atlantis Spaceship, where he was able to kill NST with a couple of Hellions. It was really well done. But just lately, I've seen a lot of his TVTs and his TVP, which looks incredibly strong. Today, he has to prove, though, that he is still very good against Zerg as well.
Yeah, he really does. Now, by the way, we just had on screen some finals information. Just want to make sure that everybody knows that the finals are going to be in Busan. Code S finals are going to be 1 hour later than usual, starting at 7:10, so don't forget that. That's going to be coming up very soon. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, next week is going to be crazy. But one of the things that we also have to point out while we're waiting for the teams is that the WCS qualifier is starting on Sunday. It's not tomorrow. For a second I was like, okay, it's tomorrow. No, it's actually on Sunday and Monday, and we will be streaming all of these games here at the studio. One of the first times that the Caspar players are actually going to face GSL players.
Yeah, it'll be
really exciting.
It'll be, I think, the first time a Caspar player has played against a GSL player where both names are known, where they play a broadcast match against each other.
Make sure that if you want to have additional information that you check out GOMTV.net. Look at the forum. There's a post or a thread that was created by Snowbird, if I'm not mistaken, and he basically listed all the information that you need to know. We'll be casting on Sunday and on Monday, and well, there are going to be a lot of games.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of content.
We'll be probably here like 8 hours each day at least.
Yeah, probably so, man. It's going to be a long day, but it's going to be exciting. Here is our first team coming out. It is MVP, and there's Dongregu, the man himself.
And Tails, of course, the one player that you can spot immediately in the lineup thanks to his hair color.
Oh, you certainly can.
Look how they line up. And the blue in the middle, and to the left and right, we have them in the white.
I like that. Finale looking good today as well.
And there's DRG. Like a tragic hero. He could be a tragic hero, we'll find out today.
He very well may be.
And he's smiling again. That's actually exactly the face that I wanted to see. Yesterday, he looked so sad.
He definitely showed a lot of great potential in his Code S run this season, and MC prepared well, I will say. His builds are really nice executed, but in that booth, I did not see the Dongregu that I expected to see yesterday.
Here we have a closer look at the MVP entry. We want to see what players they have, in particular on the bench today. And here they are, starting off with the Zerg players, DRG, Sniper, and of course, Monster.
Yep. 3 great Zergs right off the bat. And then next up, we have Keen, our starting player, SC, and Noble S as some Terrans.
And finishing things up with the Protoss players, Tails, Lure, Finale, and Vampire. Vampire losing in Code A in the second round. Some
crazy games.
Crazy games for Vampire, of course, very disappointing. On the other hand, he was still able to qualify for the OSL. So we might see him today, but one of the showcase Protoss players that MVP has in the lineup is, of course, Tails with his crazy builds. This guy is so strong, really known for his builds, and here they are. DRG looking a little bit happy now that he has some food in him.
Yeah, he's seen some Kimbap over there. Monster looks pretty happy too. Zerg players hanging out, sticking together.
They look really relaxed, don't they?
They really do. They look like they came here to win it, and they're going to get out of here.
I talked to Coach Choi earlier, and he is really nervous about today. He's, of course, sad that DRG was not able to win yesterday. And, well, we talked a little bit about the games, but he was like, okay, today, GSTL, I really want to win. I really want to go to the finals with my team, but I'm very, very nervous.
Noblesse wants to trade his Hot 6 for some mustard, man, and it was not agreed upon. That was kind of weird. All right, here we go. FXOpen coming out. Many would call this team the underdog today, but so far, so good with these guys. They made it to the round 4 last season, and this time they're doing it even without Oz. Looking like a really strong team.
In the middle, we have, of course, Lenok and Lucky, and the Zerg powerhouse, but FXO has much more on the bench than only these 2 Zerg players. They have Whale, who made an appearance the last time. Sirius, also one of the players that we've seen in the match against Hosa.
Yep. And I think that this team, there's something special going on with them right now. I mean,
so many of the young players just step it up as soon as they enter the booth, and it's really nice to see. It's a great story here.
They're one of the teams that has had so much success just with their, outside of the individually Code B players, just having a ton of success.
When Oz left, you would have most people would have expected them to fall a little bit short, but now they're here at the semifinals once again, and they look stronger than ever. With all these players that are a little bit unknown, but definitely up for the challenge, they have a great lineup, and we're having a closer look at it.
Yep, here it is coming through here, starting out with, of course, our Zerg players, as Lucky is the captain. Lenok, Sirius, and Whale, of course, making up the rest of our Zergs.
Here they are, the Protoss players. Choya, the coach, Tier, played very well in the recent team matches.
And our Terrans, Gumiho, the best, and ASD. All three of these players serving very different roles, but they're very solid Terrans in this lineup.
Yeah, especially Gumiho with great performance so far, especially in the individual league. I was really impressed.
Yep, Shoya looking good as usual. And this team, you know, they look a little bit determined, I would say, today. They don't look as relaxed as MVP, and they have prepared well for this match. I'm absolutely certain of it. Look at Lenok.
Yeah, Lenok definitely wants to make something happen here. He's just such a great Zerg player, but so is Lucky. The last time he was not really confident about starting, about playing in general. We talked a little bit about it. He gave Sirius a chance, and now Lenok. That's, of course, basically their Joker. But they are leading the charge today with Whale, and Whale performed well against Jagchi, so let's see how this is going to turn out. He lost to Jagchi. That's one thing that we might have to add here as well, but he looked so strong.
Yeah, he really did, and he actually could have taken that game, in fact.
Yeah, I think so too.
He should have. He played a little bit with a kind of a blind eye, I guess you could say, but here's our starting MVP player.
The third base that he didn't scout, this kind of determined the course of the game, and here we have, as you just mentioned, we have the MVP player. This is the Terran, this is Keen. Looking strong once again. I'm
a little bit disappointed he didn't bring his jacket today.
Yeah.
It's a little bit hot for that, though, you know?
The commander is leading the charge today, but he is wearing the casual outfit.
Yeah. Being a little more casual. It's pretty hot out. I don't blame him. Very hot in Korea these days, this summer.
The humidity is atrocious. What is it right now? 95%?
I didn't even check, man.
It's crazy.
It's practically 195%, I think, actually.
It's like you're breathing water.
It seems that way. It certainly does. We're in monsoon season right now as well. A lot of rain.
I was actually told like 2 days ago that there was a typhoon hitting, and I was like, what?
I had no idea of that, actually.
Okay, do I have to do something? Is there anything special that you have to take care of? I mean, I didn't know.
It's just going to rain a lot if that happens.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe the wind's a little bit stronger. But here we have Whale.
Yep, only played one time. He made quite the splash, no pun intended, in his first performance. And I almost made Counter die with that.
Did you really just do that? At first I didn't get it, and I was just drinking my coffee here, and then suddenly I got the joke when you said like no pun intended. I'm like, what?
You just made the second splash with your coffee, man.
That was ingenious. You are getting really good at this.
I grew up, my father was the pun master, and I was his apprentice.
I like this man even more. You have to introduce us one day. I mean, the guy, he watched Saber Rider, and he teaches you at least a little bit of his skill. If you're the 50% and he's the 100, I want to talk to this guy.
Well, maybe I can set up you guys to have a meeting.
Yeah, I guess so. That would be good.
Well, our first map, it's going to be Ohana, a two-player map, and this is a map that I don't think either race really favors over the other too much in this matchup.
And we always talk a lot about how the first game in one of these team matches actually determines the course of the match in general. And this couldn't be more true for MVP today, because they kind of showed they showed guts here. They set MVP Keen on the first map, and that's one of their strongest players, so he definitely has to win here. If suddenly Whale takes out the Terran player, this would be bad news for MVP, and well, that could spiral.
Could indeed. We'll see. Keen leading the charge up against Whale. He proved himself in the past. We'll see if he can finish this Terran off this time. The map is Ohana. This is game one between MVP and FXOpen.
And here we go to the bottom right of the map in the red. We have our Terran player starting for the MVP team. Here's the commander. Here's the one and only
MVP Kid.
He looked, by the way, really strong in the TSL qualifier. He was winning the 5th TSL qualifier, and he defeated a lot of Zerg players in the course of it. He was up against Live in the final, where he defeated him with 3-1, but he also met Ragnarok, King Kong, and Hyun. So his TVZ, I have not seen these games, but his TVZ must be really good if he's able to kill so many high-level Zergs.
Seems to be on a roll for sure. We'll see if he can take out this rookie player from the team FXO. His ID is...
FXO Whale.
And Whale so far didn't have too many appearances. We have him with a win ratio against Terran with 55%, but only a very small sample size. 6 wins and 5 losses, and most of these games are actually from WCG 2011. So he hasn't played in quite a while, at least not in competitive games. And we basically base
I came for the StarCraft. Wait, I can't see it, man. Let me see your hair. Show it to me. Oh, it's good.
Oh man. Yeah, what I was about to say about Whale is that we basically base a lot on what we know about this player is on his performances against Jagji here, which is of course only one map, but it really impressed me how he handled things.
Yeah, I liked, you know, he overextended himself a little bit. He didn't scout the third base, but even then, he was able to transition quite well. I was impressed by his play in that game. A lot of people really were. And so this is kind of his follow-up chance to kind of prove himself. And using him as a starting player, actually, I really like.
Yeah, that shows a lot of confidence into Whale, in Whale, because the thing is, this is the semi-final, so Choya and Team FXO would not make any rash decisions here. They really want to reach the finals this time. Last time they were defeated and they just they weren't able to go to Las Vegas, and they really wanted to. They talked about it all the time, and this time they wanted to go at least to Busan. They want to go to the beach and they want to show their skills in the finals. And this is going to be a tough match. If I had to look at the lineup and would have to pick a favorite team today, I would probably say MVP, just because of how well they just played in recent GSTLs in other team leagues. But FXO, with all the players that we've seen lately, they seem stronger than ever.
Yeah, like I said, there's like something special about the FXO lineup. Their preparation is really good. Their player picks are intelligent, and they seem to win a lot of the time. We have Command Center first into double gas coming out from Keen. And of course, he's up against a Hatch first, which he has in fact scouted right now.
At the same time now, we have for our Zerg player no gas just yet. He seems to rely on a lot of queens here right now. We have the first 2 building. And if he doesn't take an extractor fairly soon, I guess that we will see at least 4 to 6 queens out of Whale. He will probably try to defend the choke point and spread his creep towards the Terran. Especially in this matchup, it's really important for the Zerg to rely on a good creep spread. So we see a lot of these gasless builds in the beginning.
I wanted to mention one more thing about the choice of Whale here. And you mentioned it, he does not have very many televised matches, and the last ones he really showed were in 2011's WCG. So that makes it very hard to prepare for. And the one player you have time to prepare for, the one player you'll know with absolute certainty that's coming out for your opponent's team that you can prepare a matchup for, is the starting player. And so putting him out like this is kind of, they're confident that he's good enough, and they also know that it's very difficult for Keen to study and prepare for this matchup. I really like the choice. I just want to add that one extra piece to the puzzle, but we're going to see Reactor Hellions as a follow-up for Keen. The question is, how much is he going to commit to this? Will he make just 2 to 4, or is he really going to continue to produce them and try to control the creep with them heavily? Will there be Banshees? We see the Starport and the Tech Lab going down now. It seems that's going to be the follow-up here.
Yeah, the Banshee transition is definitely what we're going to see from him. You said that this is basically right now what a lot of the Koreans do, and you're completely right about it. I would love to see more bio play. This is also something that becomes a little bit more popular, but still, the question if you use bio units with a few medivacs to force back the creep, or if you transition with Hellions into Cloak Banshees, is just basically a matter of preference these days. Terran players are just trying to figure out what exactly they have to do in order to cope with the Queens. The patch has been... It has been a while since the patch was released, but still, Terran players are kind of struggling against Zerg, and they're trying to find out, okay, what exactly can I do? What do I have to change to make this work? Do I play a little bit more passive and try to take my third early, just rely on my defenses? Or do I still try to pressure, maybe with a different unit composition? And Keen currently just tries to do exactly this. He's moving out with Hellions, tries to control the map, and of course follows it up with Cloak Banshees here to do some damage to the economy, and maybe sneak in a Hellion or two.
Yeah, and if he can kill the Queens, things can get out of control really fast. He won't be able to do that with the build that Whale has chosen. His Evolution Chambers are pretty nice timing here, and he's not gonna take too much damage from these Hellions. In fact, he pushes them away immediately with these Queens. Now that they're back a little bit, once the creep spread is just a little bit more, he's gonna feel very comfortable with these Queens.
And Whale plays it very, very safe. He has 6 Queens so far. He plays the wall in at the choke point. Oh, but still they're able to get in. That should never happen as a Zerg player. This is the one thing that you don't want to happen. You always try to prevent it. But Keen, he's the master of Hellions. He did it against ST, and now he's doing it against Whale again.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trying to escape here, and Toli's already killed 5.
Way too many. Not as many as he could have killed, It could have been worse, but still, this is something that you just don't want to happen. It's not only about... Well, Whale reacts in a very good way. He is able to take them down. He didn't lose too many harvesters, but at the same time, he lost mining time. He had to focus on what was happening. He put all the drones to the natural. But with the build that he has, and I was just about to compliment his wall off, and then suddenly those Hellions sneak in. He did not really pay attention to this.
Yeah, his Queen was positioned just slightly to the side. This Banshee will get a few kills. The spores are almost ready, but as he has not even started Lair at this point, there's no way for him to get an Overseer, so he's going to dodge these spores and continue to be annoying. The second Banshee is actually on the way, rallied across the map now as well. So as long as he controls the Banshee well, he can keep it alive for sure and kill so many drones.
12 in total already, and this should not have happened. I have really to say that this, it disappoints me a little bit. Well, just for a second he is indecisive, and then suddenly there are all these units that just stream in. And once again, the same thing, well, with a good reaction here. But Keen just does too much damage. He kills drone after drone, and this is the worst case for the Zerg player at this point.
His splitting was actually insane there, though, I have to say. I mean, even though he's still going to lose all of them in the end.
Yeah, he's falling apart here. The Queens are just not enough to handle the situation, and he doesn't have any additional Zerglings on the map at this point. He's completely relying on the Queen count, and he has enough of them. The problem is if you don't wall off, then suddenly everything falls apart. And of course, there is a lot of pressure in the booth now, and I think this might be a bit too much for him to handle at this point.
Yeah, he's lost in total 24 workers. The Banshee with 9 kills over here still remains alive. And things are starting to get really stressful as Keen is going to be able to secure a third base. He has to remake drones, which means less larva for units, and that gives Keen the option to easily hold his third base and potentially even push out. His creep spread is being affected by the fact that his Queens have to be constantly back here dealing with these Banshees. And this is just a very stressful moment because Keen has executed this well, and he has not cut any corners. He's not tried to play safe with his Hellions. He just goes for it. There's no hesitation. And basically what he's saying is, if you're not ready, you're going to lose a ton of drones.
Of course, Keen with a lot more experience in the booth, and especially under so much pressure, this can completely spiral out of control. The mistakes we've seen out of Whale, I think this is something that will rarely happen to him on ladder. But now it's just complete. It's like an avalanche. The first small mistake, and then he feels unsure about his position, and suddenly so many small mistakes that add up. And Keen, he is ruthless. He actually exploits every single mistake and he uses every opening.
Yep. And you know what's cool about this, Keldor, is that he's seen every time he has the Hellions on the Watchtower, he sees every Queen is at the front, and he's like, well, all your Queens are at the front, and I can see this in the Watchtower. I'm just going to go and kill your drones. He did that twice. Wow.
40 drone kills so far. The harvester count at this point is still in favor of, well, of Whale, though.
He has no units, though. He has 75 drones, 12 Overlords, and 7 Queens. 3 larvae available right now, so you can't do a lot with that.
He just built drones the entire time. This is the only thing that he did. He built drones, and this kind of keeps him in the game. The main question is, though, when will Keen try to move out? Of course, the Terran player lost a lot of Hellions too, but still, he's in a pretty good position. He made sure that his opponent was not able to accomplish too much. But if you look at the production tab, just in general, Whale is still looking decent. He double expands, he's losing a few of his harvesters in the main base, but just because he only built harvesters and nothing else, he still has a good economy. He has the upgrades, he's going for +2/+2, he has the tech as well, aiming for Hive now. And I have to say, he's in a much better position than I thought he would be after all of this.
I feel like you're so right. If he gets these Infestors out, he's got 2-2 on the way. Keen got his armory super late. It's not even finished yet, so he hasn't even started 2-2. And this means that he's going to have an upgrade advantage, and with the Infestors, things can be crazy.
He's supply blocked, and this is bad news, especially with the bank that he has, 1,000 minerals and gas, and he needs Overlords, and he didn't even realize it just yet. He built 1 Overlord, but that's not going to be enough.
That's nowhere near enough.
That's the next one.
And, well, he's going to lose some supply in drones, though, so that may allow him to build some units, but that's not ideal. 2-2 not done yet. It's getting closer, but he's losing some Zerglings, he's losing some creep, and this is the problem we were describing earlier. He had to spend all of his larvae remaking drones, so he does not have a very big Zergling force across the map. He's relying only on the Queens, and he's losing them.
He doesn't build anything. He's just saving up minerals and gas. Because I think he wants to wait for the Ultras cavern. I'm not quite sure if he can afford to do it. Of course, the Zerglings here doing the damage and will at least be able to force the drop back. But he's gambling a lot here. If he moves out with his army, he might lose an expansion to it. But
22 drones in production.
On the other hand, if Keen actually waits too long, maybe the Ultralisk will be there in time. But he needs Infestor as well. There is no reason to not get at least a few Infestors.
He's taken a huge gamble here with making 22 drones, and Keen is not waiting. Keen's going to attack, and he's got nothing. He's got 36.
No larva.
No larva, nothing. 36 Zerlings. He's making 4 Ultralisks right now and 11 Banelings. They are not going to be ready in time, and they're not going to be enough. There are no Infestors on the map. He has Pathogen Glands. The one thing he has is the upgrade advantage. It's going to be 2-2 versus 1-1 when they engage, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough with this many Marines.
I'm still impressed that Whale is able to keep this going. He has 50 Harvesters lost on his... and there come the Banelings. They have the upgrades waiting for the Ultralisk, of course. No Infestors. Therefore, no Fungals for the Zerg, while the Terran sends a few units to the left, trying to take down this base at the left side of the map, that 4th base. The first Baneling hit is spot on. And once again, supply block. The FXO player is down in supply, lost the 4th base already, and Keen is aiming for the main base.
He's ripped through the entire right side of the creep. There are a ton of active tumors on the left, but the right side is now the important area. That's where Keen is attacking. He's going for this hatchery. He may target it down. It looks like he will. And I think it's going to fall. He doesn't, even if he, well, here he comes. He's going to be close. He gets it.
Dies with 4, and after 4 hit points, it looked for a second as if he could save it, but now he's down to 2 mining bases. Keen, of course, he lost a fair bit, but at the same time, he secured a 4th base. He's trying to get a 5th base now, and he's just looking way too strong for Whale at this point in time.
Yeah, some really superb control by Whale, though. With very few units, he actually split his Banelings to attack from multiple fronts. He also had he had Zerlings come and pick off the tanks that were exposed. But
how old is Whale, by the way? Look at the picture at the bottom right of the screen right now. He looks really, really young.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
If you compare it to Keen. And he showcases a very, very strong Zerg player. I think if this guy has a bit more experience in the booth, he will be such a tough opponent. But today, even though they are even in supply at this point, it certainly looks like MVP is... that MVP Keen is a bit too strong for him. With 5 bases... Actually, yeah, he has 5 bases against 2, and Whale, of course, desperately trying to secure another 2 hatches, but still, this is going to be tough. Without Infestors, I don't know.
It's something he may not be able to do. He's got this Ultralisk Force with some Baneling support. He's shutting down the drops decently well, but he needs to do more, and for now, he kind of has to wait. Now the 6 Infestors are on the way, and those are going to be what he needs to really start winning fights convincingly. He's keeping his supply good. You know, he's got 87 drones out right now, which arguably in some cases is too much, but in this case, I like it. He needs all the money he can get, but he's keeping his units alive. He's not losing his Ultralisk, and if he doesn't lose these Infestors, he still has a chance here.
Yeah, he does. Keen is not out of this yet. He's in a good position, but he should not be overconfident, and I doubt that he will. He's trying to move in here right now, and here we go. The Zerglings trying to flank, trying to cut off the path of retreat, but there are too many sieged-up tanks and a nice front set up by MVP Keen, who's once again up at 200 supply.
Notice Keen's cautious scanning here. I feel like he's being really cautious in the situation where he does not necessarily have to be. And this is allowing Whale to kind of push his way back through. He's skimped on units so much for a period of time, and now he's just being so safe that Whale is actually able to remax several times. He does take out finally this Banshee. Banshee did so much damage. In total, workers killed this game 54. That is insane.
From the beginning of this game, Whale was on the defensive, and Keen was trying to just trigger reaction after reaction out of his opponent, which he was successful in doing. And here they come, finally the Infestors, maybe with a couple of good Fungals. Is Whale able to turn things around here? He's losing a base, takes down a lot of Marines, but Keen backs off, tries to lure the Zerg player into attacking, to siege up position. But this is a pretty impressive game. If you just look at the resources lost, it's basically the same. The problem for Whale is that Keen was able to mine a lot more than he was.
Keen is almost playing this guerrilla warfare style where he's just killing a hatchery, getting out, killing a hatchery, and getting out. He's never fighting straight up. This time he might, though. He might take this fight. No. Decides to turn around and run. Stimming, scanning, putting his tanks. This is again what I'm talking about. He seems a little bit nervous to engage Whale, but with the lead he has in economy, he does not have to, and I respect this.
It's a really great opening game. Whale is at 200 supply once again, and he's getting all the upgrades that he needs. He has a great tech now. He lacks the Brood Lords, but he's really confident apparently with the composition that he has. Ultralisks and Infestors, Banelings, Zerglings. For his opponent, though, we have another... Well, he has so many bases. He's getting additional orbitals now. He's getting +3/+3, finally able to get a little bit ahead in the upgrades. Keen is looking so strong, but as we said earlier, it's not over yet. If Whale wins one huge fight, then he might be able to carry the momentum.
Yeah, this is a great position. Whale cannot fight here. You know, 3-3 is about to finish for Keen, and he just continually kills the hatcheries. He's trying to starve his opponent out. Hold that thought as We may have an engagement. No, he does not commit. He's going up to the right side, and he's going to kill his hatchery another time, and he may be able to lift up and get out. Oh, stimming, gets it, lifts up, saves a lot of his units, and I have to say, neither player has really lost that many resources in army this entire game, and so even though he's been able to deny the mining of the Zerg so much, he still has 2,000 minerals in the bank. He just spent a bunch of gas on 8 infestors, but look at this, Keen is going to go snipe another hatchery. He never stops attacking. He's been so aggressive this game.
He's trying to suffocate him. If he kills base after base, then he will win the war. To the right side of the map, we have this run-by that's trying to take down the planetary, and he's able to do it because those well, the SCVs never really repaired the planetary, but there's already another command center in position. Another nice fungal saves the infestors. He was so close of getting in touch with them. And
oh, this is getting scary. The tanks have arrived.
The production for Keen, it is insane. He has so many units queued up. He has so many minerals, so much gas, and this base is going to die once again. And then, well, Whale will drop in income.
Yeah, he needs gas. He's got 2,000 minerals, but only 300 gas. He needs to keep the gas mining, and he loses some of his units. Keen, of course, that is, but this does, for the most part, get cleaned up. The problem is, Keen has the bank, and he continues to make 3 siege tanks at a time, 10 marines at a time, and 10 marauders. Or 5 marauders, not 10. That would be insane. But his production is so good that it's hard for Whale to compete, even though he killed the base on the right side. That's just not something that Keen is about right now. He's like, I'm not about defending, I'm about attacking.
Just think about how this game started. If Whale would have not lost all of these units, what would Keen do against this Zerg player? Another fungal hits home, and here come the forces of the FXO player. Whale on the move, trying to take down Keen, trading really well here, but at the same time he just does not have the substance to his army. He does not have enough units, and he does not have the income to keep reducing them.
Yeah, 3 Ultras on the way, but he's out of money now. He's long-distance mining all over the place. He's starting to lose some of those long-distance mining drones. Tanks targeting down the Ultras.
Keen is playing this very, very smart. He does not overextend himself. He might have been able to finish everything with an early attack, but at the same time it would have been a risk that he was not willing to make, and he played it safe, takes the game, and leads now. Puts the first point on the scoreboard for his team. Very well done. And nice effort by Whale. I really liked what he did there.
Yeah, I feel like with the position that Keen was in, after killing so many harvesters, Whale recovered better than most anyone could have. Keen was really passive, and that was part of the reason, but he is going to show everyone how much he loves Hot 6. He offers the can that he just drank out of Choya.
What was that?
That was, I suppose, a really... I'm like, that's not MVP Keen. I'm like, Gom's for the celebration as well. He like paid the producers. Gives out a t-shirt as well. Keen starting things off with a bang here.
They always do this, don't they? Yeah, the MVP team, every single time in this season when I've actually casted the games, every time a player of them won, they handed out one of the shirts.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that puts FXOpen in a tough position where, you know, Whale's not one of their solid star players, but it's obviously someone they had a lot of confidence in. This is the guy who's been preparing for a long time for this match against Keen. And we're going to find out pretty soon who they're going to have to send out next year. They don't want to send out someone like Lucky this early on. They could, but I don't think they would.
Well, we'll find out. But the thing is, we have a great starting match already. That was really entertaining. I loved how the two of them played this out. And especially Keen with his harass. Every single time I doubt him. Every single time I'm like, okay, he's not able to get in there. He proves me wrong. Against Nestea, the same thing. Nestea playing a little bit too greedy, and Keen with his Hellion Force he just swoops in. Every single time he finds an opening.
He always has the watchtower, and if he sees the queens are too far away from that base, he goes over there. He's like, all right, I see where your queens are. They're not over at your third base, that's for sure. You may have one over there, but I have like 6 Hellions, so it's a simple game of math here.
It's the same thing with Maru. When Maru played against Moro, he should have never been able to get into the main base, but suddenly he finds an opening, and boom, he's through and takes on so many harvesters. Same thing we've seen today. And of course, with his early aggression, the Banshee follow-up was priceless.
Who's coming out next? It is Lucky. It's Lucky first. Wow. Bringing him out early.
Today he seems to be confident enough. Last time he was not. And here we go. Keen looks at it like, well, another Zerg player.
I wouldn't say
he's go to work.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's lucky to face him though, man. This is gonna be not an easy opponent to face. This guy right now, Lucky, it's not you know, he has a lot of close finishes. He did really well in Code A when he was in Code A. And, you know, this guy is a good player, but he hasn't proven himself outside of the Team League. But in the Team League, he's a tough opponent to face. Not someone that you want to run into. Not someone that you would expect to see this early.
The problem that Lucky sometimes has, I talked with Lenok and him about it, is that he misses timings very often. He's a bit too afraid, too cautious, he misjudges the situation. Not in the regard that he is not able to react to his opponent, but sometimes he has an opening. He can take down his opponent, but he does not really see it and he thinks, okay, what if I lose? So he is a bit too timid at times. And this is the one thing that Lenok criticized about him. Well, not really criticized, but that we talked about. So he definitely tries to improve this. But what I love about his style is that he, in general, plays very safe when it comes down to defending his bases.
Yep.
Spore crawlers, spine crawlers at every base, that's his thing. Dropping against this guy is so difficult.
Well, we will have a 5-minute break. We'll see if FXOpen can tie things up here at the GSTL semifinals with Powder and Wolf.